is you must leave. If you do not disperse, you may be arrested and/or subject to other police action. The use of riot control agents and/or less lethal munitions, which could cause risk of injury.
Frequency clear.
And now it's conspiracy. See, they've made that something that should not be even entertained for a minute. That powerful people might get together and have a plan. Doesn't happen. You're a kook. You're a conspiracy buff.
Keep this frequency clear.
We here highly resolve these dead shall not have died in vain, that the nation shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom.
This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom.
This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom.
This nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom.
This nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom.
This nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom.
This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom.
That this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom.
That the nation shall have a new birth of freedom.
Would you like to see all the executive orders that have been put into place to take over our nation, to have complete control over us, to take away our rights, round us up, and put us where they want us? Here we go. Executive Order 10990 allows the government to take over all modes of transportation and control of all highways and seaports. Executive Order 10995 allows the government to seize and control the communication media. Executive Order 10997 allows the government to take over all electrical power, gas, petroleum, fuels, and minerals. Executive Order 10998 allows the government to seize all means of transportation, including personal cars, trucks, or vehicles of any kind, and total control over highways, seaports, and waterways. Executive Order 10999 allows the government to take over all food resources and farms. Executive Order 11000 allows the government to mobilize civilians into work brigades under government supervision. Executive Order 11001 allows the government to take over all health, education, and welfare functions. Executive Order 11002 designates the Postmaster General to operate a national registration of all persons. Executive Order 11003 allows the government to take over all airports and aircraft, including commercial aircraft. Executive Order 11004 allows a Housing and Finance Authority to relocate communities, build new housing with public funds, designate areas to be abandoned, and establish new locations for populations. Executive Order 11005 allows the government to take over railroads, inland waterways, and public storage facilities. Executive Order 11051 specifies the responsibility of the Office of Emergency Planning and gives authorization to put all executive orders into effect in times of increased international tensions and economic or financial crisis. Executive Order 11049 assigns emergency preparedness function to federal departments and agencies, consolidating 21 operative executive orders issued over a 15-year period. Executive Order 11921 allows the Federal Emergency Preparedness Agency to develop plans to establish control over the mechanisms of production and distribution of energy sources, wages, salaries, credit, and the flow of money in U.S. financial institution in any undefined national emergency. It also provides that when a state of emergency is declared by the President, Congress cannot review the action for 6 months. The Federal Emergency Management Agency has broad powers in every aspect of the nation. General Frank Salzito, chief of FEMA's Civil Security Division, stated in a 1983 conference that he saw FEMA's role as a new frontier in the protection of individual and governmental leaders from assassination and of civil and military installations, from sabotage and or attack, as well as prevention of dissident groups from gaining access to U.S. opinion or a global audience in times of crisis. FEMA's powers were consolidated by President Carter to incorporate the National Security Act 1947 that allows for strategic relocation of industries, services, government, and other essential economic activities, and to rationalize the requirements for manpower, resources, and production facilities. The 1950 Defense Production Act gives the President sweeping powers over all aspects of the economy. The Act of August 29, 1916 authorizes the security of the Army in time of war to take possession of any transportation system from transporting troops, material, or any other purpose related to the emergency. The International Emergency Economic Powers Act enables the President to seize the property of a foreign country or national. These powers were transferred to FEMA in a sweeping consolidation in 1979.
The Trans-Texas Corridor is a vital part because we stop here in Texas. We stop the New World Order right here in Texas.
There is a chance for the President of the United States to carry out a New World Order.
I appeared before the Congressional Committee to tell what I knew of activities which might lead to an attempt to set up a fascist dictatorship.
The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
President Bush signed a formal agreement that will end the United States as we know it, and he took the step without approval from either the U.S. Congress or the people of the United States.
The secret organizations of the world power elite are no longer secret.
It's known as the Bilderberg Group. Could their objective be world domination?
I'm Jim Tucker. I've chased Bilderberg for 30 years. I'll never give up the chase. Bilderberg plan for the whole world is nothing less than world government.
I'm not comfortable with that at all. Who elected these guys to run the planet?
They are the elitists. They feel they should run the world for their own selfish interests.
Now we can see a new world coming into view. A world in which there is the very real prospect of a new world order.
Bilderberg is making great progress toward a world government, and only an educated, informed public can stop them in their tracks.
It's good to be back at the Council on Foreign Relations. As Pete mentioned, I've been a member for a long time and was actually a director for some period of time. I never mentioned that when I was campaigning for re-election back home in Wyoming.
Let us never tolerate outrageous conspiracy theories.
Everything is set into place.
Every human being on planet Earth is ultimately responsible to policies that are being formulated at the international level.
It is a big idea,
a new world order.
President Bush said that the New World Order was in tune, and that's what they were working for. The UN is part of that government. They're working right now very significantly for a North American Union. That's why there's a lot of people in Washington that don't care too much about our borders. They have a philosophical belief that national sovereignty is not important. It's also the reason I have made very strong suggestion that we need not be in the United Nations for our national security.
The affirmative task we have now is to actually create a new world order.
The FEMA camps, now all they have left to do is take the guns.
An American soldier fighting for faith after an army briefing slaps a hate group label on a well-established traditional Christian ministry.
That's right. The presentation linked the American Family Association to hate groups such as the Ku Klux Klan, neo-Nazis, Black Panthers, and the Nation of Islam.
The soldier was so enraged, the fearful punishment for his own Christian values, he reached out to our own Todd Starnes.
Yeah, this happened out at Camp Shelby in Mississippi, and the soldier was part of 50 active duty and reservist troops that had to attend this mandatory session. And in this session, they certainly did label the American Family Association, which is a well-respected Christian ministry, as an example of a hate group. And this soldier snapped a photograph that he sent me showing the slideshow presentation, and also another briefing, and I believe this was in the Air Force, labeled evangelical Christianity and Catholicism as examples of religious extremism. So there's something going on here. The Pentagon, we tried to talk to them. They told us we needed to talk to the Army. And at that point, the Army, well, it's been almost 24 hours and we still haven't heard back from them.
A U.S. soldier in our Army spoke out. He said this: "I had to show Americans what our soldiers are now being taught. I couldn't just let this one pass. I was completely taken back by this blatant attack, not only on the AFA, but Christians in our beliefs." Your thoughts on that?
Elizabeth, for the past 5 years under the Obama administration, we have seen a significant increase in anti-Christian rhetoric and activity in the military.
Good evening, everybody. President Obama and British Prime Minister Gordon today calling for a new world order to tackle our global economic crisis.
It's been a long time coming, but tonight, because of what we did on this day, in this election, at this defining moment, change has come to America.
All right, folks, there's a lot going on right now. Decisions being made that are unprecedented and will have an overreaching impact on what it means to live in the United States of America. Both the Senate and the House of Representatives have just overwhelmingly passed the National Defense Authorization Act. Squeezed into this military funding bill are two provisions that give the military not just lots and lots of money, but lots and lots of power as well.
A new generation of surveillance drones could soon be watching us all. The Federal Aviation Administration is expected to announce plans to expand the use of domestic drones in American airspace.
Well, get ready to look up at the sky and see drones hovering above. As of now, unmanned aircraft could only be used by military airspace and by certain law enforcement agencies, but this week Congress passed a bill that would allow for commercial and private use of the drones.
I have two words for you: predator drones. You will never see it coming. You think I'm joking?
Shopping and dining over Thanksgiving and maybe watching some football games. Big government Republicans and Democrats were busy shredding the last vestiges of the Constitution. Senators John McCain and Carl Levin want to enact a law that would declare the entire United States of America a battlefield for the military. They're talking about inserting the Army into domestic law enforcement. Senator Lindsey Graham, who supports this bill, says, quote, "The homeland is part of the battlefield, and people can be held without trial, whether an American citizen or not."
The Department of Homeland Security buying ammunition, now looking to purchase
another 21 million rounds of ammunition. This in addition, of course, to the 1.6 billion rounds that Homeland Security has bought in just the past 10 months. Now, to put all of this in perspective, the military used approximately 70 million rounds each year of the Iraq War. 70 million rounds in a war.
If you look at what the Department of Homeland Security has been purchasing over the last year, it comes out to like 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition, more than 7,000 fully automatic assault weapons, 2,700 MRAP type vehicles, and now drones. Those are instruments of war. Department of Homeland Security's, who are they going to fight a war against?
Something happened.
Robert Whitaker, the tactical supervisor for El Paso SRT for Homeland Security Investigations. Well, we have our big vehicle out here. It's an armored vehicle. It's an MRAP vehicle. It's mine resistant, ambush protected. That's what it stands for. This is what we use to deliver our team to high-risk warrant services.
Important breaking news out of Boston. A pair of bombings rocked the finish line at the historic Boston Marathon.
It was never meant that we would have this gigantic police force from the federal government. I mean, we had martial law up there. FBI and all these agents coming in and closing things down, going to people's houses. Do we close down cities because there's 10 murders over the weekend in Chicago? We don't do that. But here we close down a whole city, not even allowed to go to a baseball game. I mean, I think it's very, very scary when I look at some of those pictures.
The military likes to perform war games, so that's why we're seeing military on the streets practicing. They are actually practicing. The tanks that we see on the streets and the National Guard patrolling neighborhoods and the practices that they're doing with our local police department, this is all in preparation for martial law, so that when they do actually lock down the country, they've got everything secured.
But I think what we're starting to see, for anybody who is objective at all, is we're seeing a totalitarian system now unveil itself. And ever since essentially 9/11 happened, it's been more and more of these draconian measures that are leading us right down the road to martial law.
Particularly to hear President Obama claim the power to keep people in prison indefinitely with no charges against them, no conviction, no sentence, just imprisonment. It's particularly stunning to hear him make that claim in the middle of a speech that was all about the rule of law.
This last week, the U.S. Congress passed a bill which repeals classic comitatus, which means that we have now institutionalized and codified martial law. Right now, the battle against terrorism involves all of us. Everybody in this country is a potential terrorist.
We don't even understand freedom anymore. We are a country that is headed towards socialism, totalitarianism, beyond your wildest imagination. I have to tell you, I'm doing a story tonight that I wanted to debunk these FEMA camps. I'm tired of hearing. You know about them? Sure. I'm tired of hearing them. I wanted to debunk them. Well, we've now for several days done research on them. I can't debunk them.
I don't know anything about them.
It is our government. If you trust our government, it's fine. If you have any kind of fear that we might be headed towards a totalitarian state, look out, buckle up. There's something going on in our country that is ain't good.
And they find a little red dot or a little blue dot on their mailbox, and they wonder what the little red dot and blue dot is. Well, it's marking your mailbox by the government, so when foreign troops come in here on us after martial law, but if you have a blue dot, they take you to the FEMA camps being built by Halliburton right now to house 50 million Americans. They're building enough concentration camps in America by Halliburton. So I'm going to tell all of you, if you have not bought ammunition, if you have not bought guns, go get them now. Go get them now, because you won't be able to get them much longer.
Change has come to America.
Practice Christianity and you could be court-martialed. That could be the new law of the land for our armed forces, thanks to a proposal by a religious tolerance group that claims Christian evangelists are predators.
is a war on religious liberty within the military, and that the Christianity of service members is now coming under attack by the Obama administration.
The Northside Independent School District in San Antonio has put tracking chips in the ID badges for more than 4,000 high school students.
Well, it looks and sounds like something out of the future, but a new palm scanning device will help Bossier Parish schools keep better track of what children are eating now. The electronic device will be implemented at all Bossier Parish schools.
Now we're seeing a complete totalitarian takeover of the United States of America. And we've been talking about this for years now. This is the police state. This is the police state. This is what a total breakdown of our society looks like. But we're seeing all of this intensify. This is all intensifying around the Second Amendment. Should we be able to own guns or not? Let's take guns away from the people. These are very big, very hardcore issues.
Every person on United States soil or international soil can be deemed as a terrorist. If they have really any reason to want to detain you, they don't need to acknowledge your Fourth Amendment rights.
It's what supported things like the Patriot Act and now the NDAA and the ever-encroaching police state.
By order of the City of Pittsburgh Chief Police, I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately disperse. You must leave.
On top of the breaking revelations of these new images of Northrop Grumman's much-feared spy copters, lest we not forget that in the past 2 years, FEMA has ordered over 180,000 of these prisoner containment boxcars, reported to be equipped with shackles and locks suited for human cargo. We would also like to note that the recent construction led by Google of the much-talked-about mysterious floating barges that have been sighted all over the globe. Google has stated that these are, quote, learning centers and showrooms. However, sources have reported that not only will some of these barges be used as large floating data centers, scouring trillions of terabytes of information each year, but many of them will be used by FEMA to hold prisoners offshore in the event of a nuclear terrorist attack in which martial law will be implemented, as will these new-aged Alcatraz-like floating prisons. With 2013 coming to an end, and the government power apparatus growing by the day, it would seem that there would be much in store for us in 2014. Having recently reported on the confirmed reports that 3 of the military's top brass in charge of America's nuclear arsenal have been fired after thwarting a government-led false flag to detonate 3 nuclear weapons on the shores of our country, and the growing reports of the NSA's continued spying through its much-discussed prison program, one could definitely surmise that the next 5 years will be crucial in America's fight for true freedom against the oppressors that have been slowly taking away our rights without consequence.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not putting up with this today. You go ahead and you record all you want. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You're being childish, and it's uncalled for. Call Butch right now. You call Butch.
Hey, is Butch around? Yes, Jim Howe. Just don't know how.
You're asking
students and teachers.
Mom gives my kids permission to leave here without me. Is what that form is.
Walkers.
They're walking with me.
They're
walking with me when school is dismissed.
No, we're not.
Per state law, yes they are.
No.
No, you're really barking up the wrong tree.
You're barking up to the county jail where you go.
It's fine. I've been there before.
Good. You're about to go there again.
That's no problem. You just open yourself up for a lawsuit. Be another one.
Go get your lawsuit. I don't care. You're not intimidating me, Jim.
Nobody's
You're not
trying to
doing it. I don't
intimidate
care how many lawyers you
I'm
got. I don't care.
I'm not raising my voice. I'm not confrontational. I want my kids.
You're a confrontational.
Nope.
You're starting it.
Nope. I just started. You started.
You're going to get this arrested. This one conduct.
What's the difference? That's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay, good.
There's no difference. I'm up here walking to get my kids. There's no difference in a
You have to go by the school rules. You don't call the sheriff on me. Sheriff has nothing to do with coming down to Board of Education.
School's dismissed. Kids go with me.
No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
Mr. 3?
I'm asking you to do the same thing the other parents are doing.
I can't stand in line and I'm walking, picking my kids up.
Kids that walk wait till after buses.
But kids that walk by themselves. I'm here to pick my child up walking. There's a difference.
Trying to be difficult.
It's walk or parent.
You're trying to be difficult.
Nope.
You're being
Not trying to be
childish.
difficult.
Make sure you record that.
Not trying to be childish. School is over. My child is being.
You're trying everything every day.
This whole thing is going to get changed. It doesn't matter.
Who says?
I say. Watch.
Oh, you're the boss?
I want.
Are you the superintendent of schools?
Nope. I need my children.
Are you the legislator in Nashville?
No.
What makes you
But I'm a
better than
taxpayer
anybody else?
like the other several hundred out here that don't like this system either. You're putting people in jeopardy.
Guess
anyway,
what? Guess
it's not
what?
for me to argue
It's
about.
rules.
It's
No,
not for me to argue about it. Here's a rule. Here's a TCA code. School is out. My children are to be given to me. When school is out. School
It don't say when, but
when
they
school is dismissed.
I'm not, no.
Please excuse me.
School is out, they will give you your child, but it doesn't say when now, does it?
Tennessee state law says within a reasonable amount of time, that is 15
Put your
minutes.
behind your back.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead. Open yourself up for a lawsuit.
I'm not standing here arguing with you.
That's fine.
It's been disorderly.
That is fine with me. Call Honda Church. Ambush Bruce.
You either get out of the way of traffic or you're going to jail too. You understand me?
Hang on a second. I got to get her. So she can get in the house. Is that okay? Is that okay?
No.
She can't have
You gonna lock me out of my own house?
cell phone. Okay.
Make sure you get my good side here.
335. No, 250.
Hold on.
Call Carrie. My day, officer.
16 seconds to Jim's house.
That's correct. You can't hold your camera and do everything.
Change has come to America.